I'm gonna strike him. I'm gonna kick him. I watched his first fight, and he was wrestling a little bit. He got tired so much, and he never fought with wrestlers like me. Bruce Mitchell, or what's his name? Bruce.
Bryce Mitchell.
Bryce Mitchell, he's the worst fighter in 145. He took him down and like hold him from the crazy position. And I can tell he's not high level. I mean, it's not WWE. I can't wait to show like everybody. I'll send Topuria back to top 15 pound for pound. For me, it's easier to fight Topuria than Oliveira. And then you can like just go like 1,000 times to take him down because he's not gonna try to choke you or something, you know?
Well, that Bryce Mitchell fight that you were speaking about, he won that fight by submission. Arman.
Arman Tsarukyan has sent a crystal clear warning message to newly crowned UFC lightweight champion Ilia Topuria. And folks, he's not pulling any punches with his words. The Armenian fighter is making bold claims that could shake up everything we thought we knew about El Matador. He never fought with wrestlers like me who know freestyle wrestling, Tsarukyan stated in a recent interview, but that's just the beginning of his scathing assessment of the champion.
I'm gonna strike him. I'm gonna kick him. I watched his first fight, and he was wrestling a little bit. He got tired so much, and he never fought with wrestlers like me. Bruce Mitchell, or what's his name? Bruce.
Bryce Mitchell.
Bryce Mitchell, he's the worst fighter in 145. He took him down and like hold him from the crazy position. And I can tell he's not high level. I mean, it's not WWE. I can't wait to show like everybody. I'll send Topuria back to top 15 pound for pound. For me, it's easier to fight Topuria than Oliveira. And then you can like just go like 1,000 times to take him down because he's not gonna try to choke you or something, you know?
Well, that Bryce Mitchell fight that you were speaking about, he won that fight by submission. Arman.
Today we're breaking down Tsarukyan's controversial statements, analyzing his game plan against Topuria, and examining whether his confidence is justified or if he's biting off more than he can chew. Stay tuned, because this story has more layers than an MMA grappling exchange. Let's start with the elephant in the room. Arman Tsarukyan's absolutely brutal breakdown of Ilia Topuria's ground game. After watching Topuria's stunning first-round knockout of Charles Oliveira at UFC 317, most fans were mesmerized by the champion's striking power. But Tsarukyan? He was taking notes on something completely different.
So if he wants to assure his title shot, he has to fight with Justin Gaethje, because if he fights with Arman, I think that Arman's going to beat him. So the easiest path he has right now to get the title shot is Justin.
Okay, thank you.
Stylistically.
Here's what caught everyone's attention. Bryce Mitchell, as the worst fighter at 145, he took Topuria down and held him. He got his single leg, and even he took him down, and he couldn't escape. He was pulling guard. If you're good on the ground, you never pull guard. You're trying to sweep or get up from there. I can tell he's not high level.
I'm gonna strike him. I'm gonna kick him. I watched his first fight, and he was wrestling a little bit. He got tired so much, and he never fought with wrestlers like me. Bruce Mitchell, or what's his name? Bryce
Mitchell.
Bryce Mitchell, he's the worst fighter in 145. He took him down and like hold him from the crazy position. And I can tell he's not high level. I mean, it's not WWE. I can't wait to show like everybody.
You said Bryce Mitchell's the worst fighter at 145.
I mean, he's did you watch his fights?
I did. I've watched his fights.
His kicks, like he think he's kicking the ball. I think
like soccer.
Yeah.
You're so crazy, Arman. You're crazy.
I'll send Topuria back to top 15 pound for pound. For me, it's easier to fight Topuria than Oliveira. And then you can like just go like 1,000 times to take him down because he's not gonna try to choke you or something, you know?
Well, that Bryce Mitchell fight that you were speaking about, he won that fight by submission. Arman.
That's a devastating technical critique from someone who knows grappling inside and out. Tsarukyan isn't just throwing shade, he's pointing to specific moments in Topuria's fight history that suggest vulnerabilities on the ground. The Armenian contender went even further, claiming, "For me, it's easier to fight Topuria than Oliveira. You can go take him down 1,000 times because he's not going to try to choke you or something. This is significant because Tsarukyan defeated Oliveira in a grueling split decision at UFC 300, proving he can neutralize elite-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. If his assessment is correct, Topuria might be walking into a nightmare matchup. But let's rewind to what really sparked this fire, the aftermath of UFC 317. Picture this. Ilia Topuria has just knocked out Charles Oliveira in spectacular fashion. The crowd is going wild, and everyone expects the #1 contender to get his moment in the spotlight. Instead, Joe Rogan calls Paddy Pimblett into the octagon for a face-off with the new champion. Tsarukyan, who was sitting cage-side as the backup fighter, watched his title shot opportunity potentially slip away in real time.
Now you're going to find yourself back in the #1 contender position. But after the fight, Topuria starts to call everybody out. He called you out. He called Gaethje out. He called Paddy out. Paddy was the one, though, that walked into the octagon. How did he become the one that got into the octagon and it wasn't you who was the #1 contender?
It was a Joe Rogan mistake, called a Paddy to come to the octagon. I was surprised, but, when Dana said it shouldn't be like that, I said, okay, hopefully he's not fighting for the title.
Were you upset when you were watching that? Like, as you see Paddy Pimblett, it's hard to erase the visual of that. In people's minds, they saw Paddy Pimblett and Ilia Topuria in the octagon like Paddy was the next guy.
20-30 minutes, I was, of course, upset because I said, this is not sport, this is WWE. They can do whatever they want.
His immediate reaction on social media was telling. It was never supposed to be Charles. I can finish Ilia, simple as that, and he knows it too. That's why he's avoiding the real one contender. Those are fighting words. Tsarukyan genuinely believes Topuria is ducking him, choosing what he perceives as easier opponents. The frustration is understandable. He's ranked as the clear #1 contender, he made weight as a backup fighter, and he defeated the previous title challenger in Oliveira. Dana White's lukewarm response to Tsarukyan making weight didn't help matters. The UFC president called it a step in the right direction, but stopped short of guaranteeing him the next title shot. For a fighter who's been climbing the ranks methodically, that had to sting.
Well, I don't know who the hell let him in there. That should have never happened. Let's start there. I was already back in my room, or that would have never happened, but
it was fun to watch.
It shouldn't happen.
It was fun to watch.
Well, that's not really what we do. Give a shit if it was fun to watch or not. It's just that shouldn't happen. Plus, he wins a second title in a higher division. It was a bad call by whoever the hell let him in there.
Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of why Tsarukyan feels so confident about this potential matchup. His analysis goes beyond just wrestling. He's identified multiple areas where he believes he holds advantages. First, the wrestling differential. Tsarukyan comes from a freestyle wrestling background, which emphasizes different techniques and scrambles compared to other wrestling styles. He's suggesting that Ilia Topuria hasn't faced anyone with his specific skill set and pressure. His game plan seems straightforward but effective. When you take down Charles Oliveira, he can still choke you or do submissions. Topuria is going to try to get up. He's going to defend. And then you can just go 1,000 times to take him down because there's no problems on the ground.
People, when you take down Charles Oliveira, he still can choke you or do submission.
He almost had you. He almost had you.
Yeah, but Topuria is gonna try to get up. He's gonna defend. He's not gonna and then you can just go 1,000 times to take him down because there is no problems on the ground. He's not gonna try to choke you or something,
This suggests Tsarukyan would look to implement a grinding, pressure-heavy style similar to what we've seen from fighters like Khabib Nurmagomedov or Islam Makhachev. The difference is that those fighters faced opponents with dangerous submission games, while Tsarukyan believes Topuria lacks that ground threat. It's a calculated assessment that could either prove genius or backfire spectacularly when these two eventually meet. But let's not forget, this is a two-way street, and Ilia Topuria isn't staying quiet about these accusations. The champion has fired back with his own psychological warfare, claiming Tsarukyan is the one who's actually scared. Topuria told ESPN Deportes he looked scared. He had a look of shock on his face when he saw the knockout. He was like, I was going to be the replacement for this fight. Thank God nothing happened to Charles because this could have been me. The champion even took shots at Tsarukyan's injury history, suggesting he conveniently gets hurt when big fights come up. He always makes weight when he knows he's not going to fight, but when he knows he's fighting, he tries to make weight and goes, oh, my back.
Exactly what I said. I connected with a couple of punches. He was like shocked and he said, I need to get a takedown. Then I defended the takedown. I control him in the ground. Almost, I get a very dominating position in the ground. I was very, very close to get it. He did a great scramble in the ground. Again, we went to the striking and finally I could knock him out.
This is clearly referencing Tsarukyan's withdrawal from the Islam Makhachev title fight at UFC 311 due to a back injury on weigh-in day. It's a low blow that questions the contender's commitment and toughness. What we're seeing here is classic pre-fight psychology. Both fighters are trying to establish mental dominance before they even step into the octagon together. And there you have it, fight fans, one of the most compelling storylines in the UFC right now. Arman Tsarukyan isn't just asking for a title shot, he's practically guaranteeing victory and breaking down exactly how he plans to defeat Ilia Topuria. Whether you think he's a confident contender with a solid game plan or an overconfident fighter who's about to get humbled, one thing is certain. When these two eventually meet, it's going to be fireworks. The technical grappler versus the explosive striker. The patient hunter versus the dynamic finisher. It's a classic MMA storyline that writes itself. What do you think? Is Tsarukyan on to something with his analysis, or is he walking into a buzzsaw? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more UFC breakdowns and analysis.